The Xperia XZ2 is Sony's big shiny flagship phone of 2018, or at least it will be until the end of August at the IFA Expo when the Xperia XZ3 is expected to launch. Exciting times. This handset was the first to rock Sony's shiny new glass design, as well as some pretty snazzy features such as 4K HDR video recording, and I really liked it when it first launched, even though some of those features did feel a little bit superfluous. I've been using the Xperia XZ2 on and off the past few months in between other phones that I've been reviewing, and also it's one of the few phones to support a bit of the Android P beta, so I've slapped that on to see what we can expect when the new version of Android rolls out. So should you consider buying the XZ2 or maybe hang on a wee bit longer for that XZ3? Well, here's my long-term Sony Xperia XZ2 review. Oh, and please don't be shy about bashing that there subscribe button for more hands-on shenanigans with the latest and greatest mobile tech, including that XZ3 when it launches. Cheers! Even after all these months, I still think that the Xperia XZ2 is one of my favourite smartphones in terms of the look and feel. It's certainly not as streamlined or as easy to handle as rivals like the Galaxy S9, and it definitely lacks the wow factor of the P20 Pro with its dazzling psychedelic rear. Still, in a world filled with glossy, notch-plagued smartphone clones, the XZ2 is definitely different enough to stand out from the crowd. That curved back end catches the light just so, and it feels really great in the hand, while the attractive finish of this deep green model is very much pleasing to the eye. Plus, that funfair mirror effect helps to keep small children entertained for ages. A definite plus, as long as they don't fumble and drop the bloody thing. Thankfully, the Xperia XZ2 also appears to be pretty durable despite that glass finish. I'm yet to see any kind of scratches or scuffs appear despite never once slapping a case or cover on. And as usual, it's fully water resistant, so you can browse a bit of Instagram in the bath, or whatever you want to do. Of course, the Xperia XZ2 is still a bit of a handful compared with most of its rivals. It's also pretty bloody heavy at 200 grams, not to mention quite a chunky monkey. And don't even bother trying to use it on a desk or some other kind of flat surface. This thing skips about like a deranged kangaroo. In fact, there really is quite a lot to dislike about the XZ2's construction, which makes it all the more bizarre that I find it so bloody appealing. I guess it's kind of like the love that a junkie has for a big bag of crack. I just can't get enough despite all the bad stuff. However, one part of the design does still seriously irk me despite my devotion, and that's the frankly ridiculous fingerprint sensor. It works just fine, but it's clearly been designed for some kind of freakish stubby-fingered user like a sloth or something. Every time I grope for it, I end up fingering the camera lens by accident and wondering why the bloody thing isn't turning on. Please Sony, sort this out for the Xperia XZ3. Android Oreo was the original OS of choice, and it worked an absolute charm on the Xperia XZ2, bolstered by Sony's overlay, which added a bunch of extra bonus features and changed up the look and feel a bit. However, the XZ2 is one of the few phones that also supports Android P beta, so I decided to slap it on just to see what to expect. Unfortunately, the beta leaves an awful lot to be desired on this device. Unlike the Pixel 2 with Android P, everything here seems to be a wee bit shonky or half-arsed. I mean, check out this ugly notifications bar for one. While pulling up the apps tray always takes me a couple of stabs at least. Plus, all of Sony's bonus bits have been completely ripped out, and a fair bit of the standard Android functionality simply doesn't work either. Frankly, I would suggest staying well away, at least until the official release, with all of Sony's little tweaks lathered lovingly on top. And for more on the authentic software experience on the Xperia XZ2, go check out my full review and the tips and tricks guide I did for a combo. For those patient enough to avoid the beta, Sony has done a great job of keeping the phone up to date with the latest security patches and whatnot. So here's hoping that an update to proper Android P won't take too long. Now on to one of the true highlights of the Xperia XZ2, that gorgeous 5.7-inch IPS display. This HDR-ready triluminous panel sports the now typical 18:9 stretched aspect ratio, and it's simply stunning when you're kicking back with some Netflix, YouTube, or whatever else. Although the Full HD Plus resolution can't quite match those Quad HD Plus rivals, you really can't complain about image sharpness. Movies and pics look as crisp as a bag of Walkers, while you can fully adjust the display output to suit your personal preferences. Oh wait, at least you could if you hadn't bothered to install the Android P beta. You know what? F it, I'm done with this shit. Bye bye beta. Ah, so much better. The stereo speakers are still among the best for modern mobiles, although the lack of a headphone jack is a serious pain in the ass when my Bluetooth set decides to die on me, and of course I never seem to have the bundled adapter on me whenever that happens. Little bastard. No worries when it comes to storage though, you can carry flippin' bucket loads of albums and movies about thanks to the 64 gigs of storage, and the support for microSD memory cards up to 400 gigs in size, lovely. And the Xperia XZ2's performance is still impeccable. Surprisingly few handsets have Qualcomm's power-packed Snapdragon 845 chipset stuffed inside, but here it works an absolute charm. You can blast through the latest games, including a bit of PUBG, on top detail levels with a perfectly smooth result. And you also have future-proof connectivity thanks to that cutting-edge Qualcomm modem. However, battery life isn't quite as strong as the likes of the Huawei P20 Pro, despite that energy efficient platform. That's not to say the XZ2 is bad, I rarely ran out of charge during a full day of use here. However, the likes of the P20 Pro and some other rivals do perform better, offering well over a day of playtime between charges. But the good news is that the battery performance doesn't seem to be degrading at all, helped along by that SmartQ Novo tech which prevents overcharging. Alongside the brilliant display, Sony's excellent 19-megapixel MotionEye camera is another definite highlight, capturing gorgeous photos and videos in pretty much any conditions. In fact, the only smartphone rival which I've been more impressed by is, yes, once again, the P20 Pro, especially killer in those nighttime conditions. Apart from that, my opinions haven't changed at all over the past few months. I still absolutely love taking this thing out and about and capturing photos of everyday life, so go check out my full Sony Xperia XZ2 camera review over on Recombu for all you need to know. So after much rambling, would I still recommend the XZ2 as 2018 rolls on? Yeah, for sure. For all of its faults, this is still a premium mobile through and through, just avoid that bloody beta. And while Huawei's P20 Pro has a beat in many departments, this Sony blower is still a beast when it comes to media, camera tech and all-round everyday performance. And it's actually good news that the Xperia XZ3 is set to launch soon, because that means the XZ2 will take a little bit of a dive in price, so if you can hang on a month or so, I recommend doing that. So thanks for watching everyone, and definitely let us know what you think in the comments down below. If you own the Xperia XZ2 already, are you still very much in love? Are you in that honeymoon period? Or have you found a few little flaws that are just kind of getting under your skin? And don't forget to bash that subscribe button and give us a ding of that notifications bell and all that other shenanigans. You know the drill by now. Love you, bye!